Welcome to part two. We should be joined by Kent any second. Women love him. Men want to buy his train set. So it is what it is. Anyway, we are now. How you doing, Kent? Going on. Does
How's
that?
it going, Russell?
I'm all right, mate. Before we start, Kent, I've had to block somebody called James on here tonight because you get a couple of people on here, they start being clever dicks. And somebody mentioned something about James Cook on here, and he went, "Who's James Cook?" Do you know somebody who really knows his boxing? This James on here. You know who you are, James, you cock. And he went, "Who's James Cook?" You know, somebody trying to be clever.
Well, do you know what? If someone's asking a question like that, obviously you don't know anything about boxing,
Yeah,
and
so fuck off my channel. Go
if you're
on, piss
being
off.
sarcastic, shut your
Piss
fucking
off!
mouth
That's what
and
we
piss
say.
off.
James Cook is a gentleman. I've met him several times. Obviously, I wouldn't have got to meet him if I hadn't have gone to York Hall. Years ago, I went to York Hall when I first started with Big Ron. There were me, Chris Smedley, Liam Cameron, and Dennis. We went down on a road trip one afternoon and come back early hours. And he was a gentleman. He does really good in the community down there. I think Tunde and Yard and all them guys, Don Charles, all them, even Big Mark Spencer Fearing, I gave him some stick, but they all give James Cook respect. He's passed away. Uh, for a guy that's, I think, about 10 year older than me, I think it's sad. He was a British super middleweight champion, an MBE, and he did so much for the community. And my heart goes out to his family because he passed away, and he got an MBE, didn't he, for his services to boxing. You don't get MBEs for now, do you? So James Cook, may you rest in peace, and I hope your family are going to be okay and get over it because it's awful, isn't it? Something like this, and for somebody to go, "Who's James Cook?" and the lad's passed away and it's trending. You should be ashamed of yourself. So you would never get on my channel ever. Oh, come on, this and that. You ain't never getting on. And any comments you leave on here, they'll just get removed by Cameron. All right, James. Not this guy, this whoever he is who keeps leaving comments. So James Cook, may you rest in peace. But for somebody to say who's James Cook, and he's called James as well, the kid who said it, you should be ashamed. You keep coming out with stuff on here, this and that about certain things, and then he's quite a sharp individual, and you don't know that. So if you didn't know he'd passed away, you're a cock anyway. You're not up to date with boxing, and if you did know and you're putting things like that, you're a cock anyway. So piss off. There you go. So
James Cook was a remarkable fighter. You know, he grew up in a time when there wasn't a lot of money in boxing,
yeah,
and like you look at James Cook's career, you know, in his sixth fight, he fought a really great fighter in Dudley McKenzie. Dudley McKenzie was one of Duke's brothers,
yeah.
one of the great fighting brothers, McKenzie
All a
brothers.
lot of the Mackenzie family, fantastic family. Them.
Superb
I love all them
fighters.
Mackenzie kids, all them Mackenzie fighters. I watch them all. Duke Mackenzie for me is a legend, man. All of them are. Clinton McCann, all of them are legends, you know. All the lot of them, even the one that didn't get the
Fantastic,
belt. All
fantastic
nice kids,
people.
they're all got respect. And do you know what? Their parents should be really proud because they all turned out good kids, didn't they, Mackenzies? So I always give them a big salute.
Great people. Clinton, McKenzie, Duke, Dudley,
Dudley.
Winston, all them, all great people. And
Yeah.
they fought early on in their careers. Like Dudley was 8-1 and James was like 5-0. So that's the type of fights that they were taking
Yeah.
at their time of their career. He went on, and I'm going to give you just a quick
Yeah, go on.
synopsis of
No,
his
no, no.
career.
Take your time, Ken. No, you're all right.
And like he went on and fought, you know, went to Germany and fought for next to nothing against Giorgio Roccagioni, lost. And the people, I mentioned this in the channel a couple of times about James Cook. You know, obviously coming in
Wealth
to
of
help him.
knowledge. And you know what? Big Malk, Fear, Spencer Fear, and Tunde, all them lot down there, Don Charles, the lot of them, they will have all picked his brains over years because he's a wealth of knowledge, James Cook. Fantastic, fantastic gear. Proper
He's one of
boxing
the
bloke.
he's for me probably one of the last, real boxing people left, and it's sad to see him go like this. And it's sad when boxing loses somebody great, and especially somebody that's give a lot for others, and
Yeah.
at a time now where boxing's very commercial. James Cook actually kept himself away and was more community based than boxing. He was more like community based boxing and
He's just
getting
like
people
Nick
off the
Manners and
streets.
Colin and Rick in Leeds and that, in their areas, and they never get the flowers. Them kids, what they do in their communities, and I know James got an MBE in that, but you never really saw James Cook there with a flash car or earning this and that. He was just bothered about being involved in boxing and just getting by, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? To say he had an MBE, he wasn't about money for him and that. It was about giving back and that. I've got a lot of time for people like that, me, in boxing, because there's
You
too
know,
many fucking takers in boxing. Too many
he
takers.
was a great man, and I've said this in the channel before, and he was the first person to defeat Michael Watson.
Yeah. You give him a good hiding.
Like he was the first like Michael Watson back then was red hot. Like
Red
they were
hot.
tipping, tipping him to be
Look what he did to
obviously the
Nigel Ben. He knocked him out with a jab.
smashed him. And you look at you look at Cook's record. He fought everyone.
Everybody.
He went on and he
Everybody.
lost to Harold Graham when Harold Graham was world class. His next fight, after losing a career, probably nowadays that would be a career-ending defeat. He
Yeah.
went on and fought Earl Christie his next fight and beat Earl Christie. You
Hey, let me
know,
tell you this, right? Do you remember when Errol Christie turned pro? Every promoter in world boxing, not just the UK, in world boxing, wanted to sign Errol Christie because he was like a massive amateur name when he won everything, didn't
he was the Sugar Ray Leonard of Britain.
he?
So he
Yeah,
was. That's what he was. And see, at that time, like there was the Henry Cooper show that was on BBC. The ABAs was on Grandstand. There was
yeah,
amateur fights on T. It was
yeah.
red hot. And I've got a link here with James Cook. James Cook actually knocked out, but wait to hear this, knocked out Sam Story, who is the son of the legendary Belfast coach Jerry Story of the Holy Family's son in Macefield Leisure Centre to win the British Supermate title. That's amazing. I actually used to train in the Holy Family Boxing Club with Jerry, and Jerry was a great man. And it's actually really sad that Jerry Jr. actually passed away there recently. He was another great man who I had a lot of time for, and uh, my heart goes out to that family. But James Cook, winning a British title late on in his career, you know, then going on and winning a European title is it's like a Rocky story, it really is. And not only did he win the European title, he went on to get big fights. He went on and beat Mark Kaler. Mark Kaler was one of the biggest ticket sellers in Britain at the time. It was a massive ticket seller.
Mark Kaler beat Errol Christie, didn't he?
Yeah, that
With
was
Jimmy
that
Tibbs in
massive
his
fight.
corner.
That was that fight that had a lot of controversy going into it.
They
There's
got
actually a
fined
really
10 grand each, didn't they, for fighting at weighing or something at Preston, wasn't it?
there's actually a really good book on that fight. I'm actually going to have to go and buy it.
Jimmy
I've been
Tibbs were
meaning
in
to
his
buy.
corner, wasn't
Yeah, that was a golden era of boxing, Russell. Really was for
he?
British
I know.
boxing.
I know, I know. It's and Errol Christie's passed away now, Ken, hasn't
Another great fighter. Like there's a guy there that you look at. He was just a star, a real. a real star in himself as an amateur. Like as I go back to say, he was the Sugar Ray Leonard of Britain at the time. You know, he was a real star. It's sad that he didn't, you know, obviously didn't go on and achieve what he should have. You know, maybe stayed possibly too long as an amateur. But he was a great fighter with another great fighter with a lot of promise.
Listen, Errol Christie will be sadly missed because he was a fantastic amateur and it never really happened for him as a pro, did it? I know he went out to Cronk Gym, didn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah, and at that time, you know, you had the Kronk Gym had
Dennis Andrews,
what a fighter, Russell. What a fighter Dennis Andrews was.
class act, class, class. Uh, okay. Well, do you want to cover the rest of the? I sent you the box set screenshot, Kent. Do you want to cover the rest of the Ipswich show?
Yeah, I watched the Pierce O'Leary fight, so it did as well.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I fought. I just I think he's a really good fighter. I think he carries a lot of power. He's very heavy-handed. I think you know everybody talks about Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. I think Pierce O'Leary beats the both of them.
Yeah.
So I do. I think I do. I do. I think sometimes he's with Joe McAlally. I don't really like him as a coach. I think at times tonight he just kind of set that he was holding positions in that fight at times that he was too static at times, and it kind of when you're up at an elite level, you don't have time to do that. You don't really have time to admire your work and wait that long. I think he just needs to put a wee bit more energy into his work. But he's a really good prospect. Well, I think now he's beyond prospect. He's European champion. He's top 10 now in WBC. I think as I said, I rate him highly. I think he's better than Azim and Dalton Smith.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think Adam Azim and Dalton Smith are ever going to get it on?
I think now with the landscape in boxing now, obviously the big threat to everyone is Saudi.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to a stage where Warren and her now have created a pact where they'll put shows on the gala without Saudi. They'll keep Ben Shalom on the outside. They'll try and hurt him as much as possible. And it's got this stage now where it'll have to happen. It will happen at one stage because if it doesn't happen with them two co-promoting, it'll just happen where it'll be Saudi promoting it on the Ring magazine. So they've no real choice now.
What do you think to Spotty Frank Smith having a bit of a moan that they had to sit behind Bricktop tonight? Do you think Bricktop got his own back after the Eubank Ben fight?
Well, what does he expect? No, 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 because what's he expect? Who's Frank Smith to sit ringside?
He's just a
Why should
spotty
he?
cunt from Essex from money, that's all
But
he
but
is.
but but
Frank,
but
when I
why
see
why
you, I'm gonna knock you out, you prick.
why should he be sitting at ringside, Russell?
I know he needs to get a white collar on with me if Dennis was gonna bottle it. Dennis, let's have a white collar. The man you're getting clever tonight, pissed up.
He needs to pipe down. Like to be honest with you.
He does, mate. He does, mate. I mean, end of the day, right? Who is, this Frank Smith guy, right? Let me just tell you this, right? He's just a guy that's running around getting people to fill contracts in, but nobody's going to sign with him from UK now. Nobody wants to go to Matchroom because they've got a two-bob deal now with DAZN, and it looks like they're on the way out there. They're trying to get rid of Shalom. It looks like they might have done at Sky, but people are saying that Sky are toning it down now with boxing. They're not doing 20 shows a year, are they now?
Listen, you've got TNT there as well.
Yeah.
If Ben Shalom leaves Sky, Ben Shalom could bring all his fighters over to TNT and be quite successful, and it's not like he's setting up all over again with Nathan Gorman and Natasha Jonas. He's gonna go over there with, obviously young Malcolm Simpson. He's gonna go over there with Adam Azim. He's gonna go over there with fighters that have got a bit of name brand value that he could develop more. So it's not be all and end all with Sky. Sky right now, it's funny that this is how I think. It's funny that Sky signed a deal with the PDC darts, right? Then all of a sudden there's talk now of Sky dropping Ben Shalom. It's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? The funny thing is, Sky, right, have been their own worst enemies. It's a behemoth of a company, but they put all their eggs in one basket with Eddie Hills, and he did the same thing with Anthony Joshua, but they were navigating him through choppy waters for years. They were fighting this person, they should have been fighting that person, and basically they just took the piss and sold us a load of bollocks for years, and he got found out. And now they're in no man's land matchroom, aren't they? In the Sky, well, where are they going now with British fighters? All they're doing is gimmick fights. Your Eubanks, your Benns, your Johnny Fishers, Dave Allens. They're your gimmick fights. They're gimmicks. We want to see proper fighting men like Fabio Wardley. That's what we want to see on Sky. But you're not going to do because he's with Bricktop, isn't he? So who is Sky putting on? Oh, Anthony Yard shot to shit. I don't want to see Callum Smith. He's not engaging. Plus his face is like a bag of nails. Uh, I don't want to see him digging Beefy Smith up. Uh, I want to see proper fights. I want to see Josh Kelly smash up Conor Benn. You think that fight's going to happen? Because he looks massive at 154, doesn't he, Josh Kelly?
He looks huge. He is a massive threat. This is a guy who punches really well in combinations. He's not great for me as a singular puncher. He's great punches in threes and fours, pivoting off. He is really dangerous. Conor Ben can't deal with somebody who moves around him at
Yeah,
close
I
range,
know.
and he's really heavy-handed. Really heavy-handed. I think he would be Freddy Krueger and Jason all rolled into one for Conor Ben. I think he would be a disaster. I
Yeah,
think possibly even one of the McKenna brothers would I think either both McKenna brothers who are really good fighters as well. There's one of those ones could fight at middleweight or welterweight. But I think Josh Kelly right now is kind of like in no man's land where he's fighting on Channel 5. He hasn't got great name brand value. He's really dangerous. The likes of Conor Ben, I don't think they would make that fight, Russell. I think he's too dangerous.
yeah. Usyk and Dubar. Amir Khan says Usyk flogs him even easier this time.
What's wrong? He's right. Listen, that last performance that Dubois did against AJ completely flattered him. It did. You know,
Yeah,
AJ looked absolutely dreadful. AJ looked like all the fundamentals he kind of learned over the years, which weren't great anywhere anyway, had just completely left him, and he had no punch resistance.
do you know, for the last few days, all we've had is YouTubers, and they know who they are, with access to Bricktop and the rest of them. That Geordie prick, PBF or something, whatever he is, constantly chipping away, asking Bricktop, oh, is it a Coley White? How stupid are these people, Ken?
They're not boxing people, Russell. A lot of these guys come on YouTube channels, and they don't come on YouTube channels because they're boxing fans. They come on because they want attention and they want to be seen and they want to get their name out there. They're not boxing people, Russell.
I know. It's shocking, isn't it? Absolutely shocking, mate. Lomachenko's retired, Ken. I know you're a big fan of his, multi-skilled kid. His dad's an exceptional trainer, isn't he? Do you think he were good for the sport? He didn't have that many fights, did he, Ken?
Lomachenko for me is like a sorcerer. He's a magician. I think at that part now, you look at someone who had an extensive elite amateur career. So his, he jumped basically within two fights straight into a world title fight right away. I think that is what elite level amateurs see. Somebody that wins a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze, they should be fighting for world titles within five fights. So they should, because the opposition that they're fighting week in, week out is better than the opposition you're going to get you to 20 and 0. Lomachenko for me is an all-time great. He is a fantastic, his fundamentals, his skills. It's like being in a matrix watching him. And the last couple of years of his career, well, not couple, basically his whole pro career, he had really debilitating injuries, and he still managed to have an outstanding career. He was just magnificent to watch. He was a great talent, and I'm glad he's retired now. I'm actually, when you see a great fighter retire, you're like,
Mm.
flip, he's just retired. I'm
Mm.
actually delighted because I didn't want to see him end up as cannon fodder for the likes of Shakur or Garcia's or Haney's. I thought he was robbed against Haney. I thought that
Mm.
decision was absolutely disgraceful. Uh, I'm glad he's retired because I think he's too good a fighter to be going and jobbing those type of guys.
Okay, Ken, I know we didn't have you on for a month or so because you had some technical problems and your mate passed away and yeah, and you had iPad problems, didn't you? Or computer problems or whatever they call it, laptop. You never gave me your opinion on Frotch's interview with Turkey and with Liam Cameron or with the other one, Conor Benn. I didn't get your opinion on it. Do you think that Frotch lost his arsehole after all his big chat on his channel?
Well, I unsubscribed from his channel, so I was very disappointed with it. I was very, very, very disappointed with
Not
the
as
change in
disappointed as
energy.
me having to fend off abusive comments for about 6 weeks.
I'm sure you were absolutely gutted, Russell.
That gutted. I was devastated, mate, because I know what he really felt about all that. I'm not going to put it on here because I'm not like that, but.
Well, he was saying it, Russell.
Yeah, I was
He
saying it,
did.
but it was said a lot more to
Saying
me
it.
and about all the few other things as well. And we've not seen it, have we? We've seen the man feel like he's out the circle. Is he back on the zone? Is he working for Matchroom as a pundit? Is he folk? Has he had Eddie on his channel? No, he hasn't. So they've used him and took piss at him, haven't they? Basically, Matchroom and Eddie, they've absolutely. They give him the Turkey interview. I think I've heard back off somebody anyway today, the full story. Turkey give him the interview. He were going to do this and going to do that. And what did he do? He went to put his tongue right up Turkey's arsehole. I'm disgusted, to be honest with him. I can't even
And
bring
see the
myself to. I can't even bring myself to fucking put his pictures back up. So fuck him. There you go, Frotch. There you go. Sold your soul.
and see
Uh,
the thing is when you have that opinion, then you change the opinion.
Can you imagine if I started tossing Eddie Earn off on my channel? People would never forgive me, would they?
Then once you're promised or you're getting back in, you can't change that opinion back.
Embarrassing.
You can't change
Absolutely
it back.
embarrassing. Once you've said something, it's like I told Jerry. Once you've said something on here, it's going out there. If YouTube clear it, it's going out there. So don't be a crybaby. There you go. So get out the fucking Porky circle. Does Frank Smith get the same treatment as Shalom if he takes over at Matchroom? Yeah, he will. Nobody's going to buy into Frank Smith signing fighters if he's running show at Matchroom. He's just going to get the
Russell,
runaround, isn't he?
Russell, come on. See. So you look at the tax profits that Matchroom made
Yeah,
last year. It's huge. It really is huge. Right. So you're doing that. So you're going to say, right, okay, I'm going to write off into the subset here. Here, Frank, come on over. You're going to deal with this all. Do you honestly think that's going to happen?
no.
Listen, that is. Did you ever see that episode? Did you ever watch Only Fools and Horses?
Yeah, Only Fools and Horses. Yeah, I've got box set.
Right. Well, I'm going to test your knowledge here.
Go on then.
So, do you ever remember when Rodney worked for Cassandra's dad in the office?
Yeah, we're on a computer or something, wasn't it?
Yes, and do you remember the day that the wee office junior come in?
Yeah,
That's Frank Smith.
yeah. Oh,
That's
a bit like me with Big Ron, wasn't it? But no matter what you
that,
say or
that's
do, it's Big Ron that signs off on any fight.
that's Frank Smith. It's matchroom money. It's the Hearns money that they've accrued.
Well, they just need somebody to
Imagine,
bounce around Europe or England and get big contracts signed. That's all it is technically. Frank, go here, go there, go everywhere, get him to sign this and come back. That's it. No matter what his opinion is on boxing, Frank Smith, Matchroom are putting up the money and they're doing this and doing that. He's not typing up all the contracts. That's done by PAs and stuff. So Frank Smith can make out he's important. They can give him a fancy title, chief executive of Matchroom and all that. It don't mean shit. It doesn't
you
mean
know,
shite.
those
Mm.
contracts are written by barristers, lawyers. They're checked again.
Mm.
And you know what? I'm going to give Ben Shalom here a bit of credit. So I
Yeah,
am, because the Liam Cameron Ben Whittaker fight was won weeks before it.
yeah.
The fight was won then.
Mm.
And see all this crap about, oh, we signed for this and we signed for that. I thought that was genius from Ben Shalom. That was he basically took Frank Warren, he took Liam Cameron, their team, and completely took their mind out of the fight.
Do you
And
remember
all
Ben?
they
Do
were,
you remember Frotcher's interview with Ben Whittaker where we were going to put it on him about him quitting and that? And when he interviewed him, he tickled his arse, didn't he?
well, that's Frotch for you, isn't it?
I would have said, Ben Whittaker, why did you quit against Liam Cameron? Have you always been a quitter? That's what I would have said. Is the quit in you? That's all you've got to
Well,
say.
he was
Nobody wanted to
questioning.
ask. Do you remember when Daniel Dubois quit? And everybody said he quit in the industry, but all these YouTubers, and we're all saying it behind the scenes because I know I've some WhatsApp. I saw some of the WhatsApp groups and I've got screenshots here now. And you YouTubers, you all know what you were saying, but when you got your access to Daniel Dubois and Bricktop, did you ask the question? Did you quit against Joe Joyce? Yes or no? They didn't ask it, did they? None of them. None of them asked the question. You know what I mean?
And,
So
and
cheese me off. Uh,
you
Dan
know,
Garber against Matty Harris, Peter Fury's fighter. Did Matty Harris carry him for 6 rounds? Yes or no? We had him down twice, didn't he? If you've got Dan Garbage Garber down twice in a 6 rounder, why is he completing a 6 rounder and he's a poor journeyman pushing 41-year-old? Oh, he's me pal. Oh, Dan's a friend of ours. He's a friend of the Furies. Why didn't Matty Harris ice him? He had him on hook, didn't he?
it's like it's really poor. If you're wanting to be a British level
Well,
fighter.
Dan Garber can't fight for a month, can he, if he gets knocked out and he's a journeyman? So, oh, well, we'll just carry him. What are these fights now that we're seeing here amongst everybody who's pals? Are they fucking move arounds or what, Kent?
It's bloody disgrace. And listen, you know who the worst
You
is,
know, I
Ian?
hate move arounds, don't you, Ken? I said, Dennis, what we got on tonight? Well, two of them are move arounds. I go, move arounds. I go, oh, don't start with your move around. Carry on. I said, I don't want to see move arounds. Jesus. You do move arounds in gym, don't you, Ken? Ken, you're an ex-fighter. Do you do move arounds in gym? Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
I do move arounds in garden. We're on pads. Move arounds. That's
It's like
it.
Russell. How can people fighters sell tickets? Like, see if that was my best mate fighting and it was a
Who
move
wants to
around,
see a move around at 55 quid a ticket at small hall?
I'd be like, mate, sorry, but I can't support like you. This is bloody awful. Like,
Right?
no, you're not.
Absolutely
If
shocking.
you're fighting at that level and you're fighting them cards and having that all the time, you're not going to sell tickets.
I know. Shocking, isn't it?
And you develop a journeyman mentality yourself.
We had enough
Because
of
when
them
you
move arounds with Ricky Hatton with his WBU 15 defences. Do you remember them? Gee.
oh my goodness me,
Ricky Hatton,
that
the
there
world champion, selling out arenas with a WBU belt, 15 defences. Didn't they milk that while they were waiting for who was the
the
guy he
dub
did? Costa Zoo, while they were waiting for him to go grey. You remember? He ended up going
listen,
grey. Then they got him,
Russell,
didn't they, when he was dug up?
Russell, the WBU was based upstairs of a
In a
kebab
bedsit.
shop in Camden Town. Let's be honest.
Do you know what I mean? But
And
nobody
there was
wants to
actually
ask the questions, do they, to these people? Nobody.
there was actually two WBUs. There was a German version and there was a UK version.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke, in it, Kent.
You look at I'll say, do you want me to read some of them out?
Go on then.
Do you want me to read? Okay, so we've got John Bailey. My goodness, but as well as fighting Bill Bailey that night, he would have got a better fight.
Bill
Fre Fre
Bailey.
yeah, Freddie Pembledon was 100 years old. Freddie Pembledon had 25 losses
Never.
going into that fight, like 25 losses. Seriously, uh,
I'm now. I get hey, dripping tap. Dripping tap and fill half these pros in. Now, have you seen shape dripping taps in? Big 14 stone and dripping 120 bencher. He'd fill them all in and he'd still wear his bins while he filled them in. I'm telling you now.
that's some Russell. That's some going.
Yeah, listen, Dripping Tap is as strong as an ox. He's as fit as a butcher's dog. Let me just read this out to you here, right? Derek Chisora's ranked number 2, but number 1's vacant at IBF, so he's technically number 1 in it. Wardley's number 1 easily now after tonight, WBA. He's consult, he's strengthened that position. Atoma's WBO number 1, but Atoma, how can he be number 1 ranked after 12 fights with the WBO? It's because Bricktop's got the WBO's ear roll and he's stuck up their arsehole. Akola's WBC number 1. Nobody wants to go near a Coley. But what I want to know is this: Chisora, Wardley, Atoma, and Lawrence Coley. They're all number 1 ranked, or Chisora's 2, but number 1's vacant. I haven't heard any of them 4 who are bricktop men mention the name Ajit Kabayel. Why is that? He's not getting his flowers, is he?
Gabrielle is I got a bit mixed up the other day there in the channel. I do correct myself. Gabrielle has been probably one of the most avoided fighters since he beat Derek Chisora in Monaco,
I
right?
agree.
And do you not remember in lockdown? Remember when Fury was meant to have a 10 rounder and everybody was talking about he was going to fight Caballero. There was no way Fury would have fought Caballero because if he had fought Caballero, Caballero would have beat him.
Yeah. How's
Caballero would
Tyson
have beat him.
Fury number 1 ranked by Ring Magazine under Usyk for that belt? Which it's like it doesn't mean no to me that belt anyway. But Tyson Fury's ranked number 1 with that belt, and he's not ranked in any other organisation, any of the other 5, because he's saying he's retired. So why's Tea Towel Turkey got him number 1 ranked there? Why is that? But yet he's not ranked in them other ones. I'll tell you why, shall I? Because so they don't, because he says he's retired and he doesn't have to do a drug test. Why don't we just tell the truth? Why don't we just tell the truth? He retires after every fight so he can go eat, drink, and take what he wants, and nobody wants to mention that. Why are you not ranked in all the organisations, but you ranked with a fucking magazine at number one? Why has he not been fired out that ranking? Because Turkey owns it, and it's basically a piss take, isn't it, really? But nobody wants to mention that, do they? Why are they not mentioning Tyson's not ranked by any organisation, Bricktop and Spencer Brown? So why is he ranked number one with Ring Magazine, but he's saying he's retired? And Spencer Brown's come out and said, well, he should fight Usyk next, and then Joshua. I believe that's because Usyk flogs him again, but the Joshua fight's always going to be there, even if they've had 10 losses each. They're still going to push that, aren't they? They'll tell all these YouTubers to push it, and they'll do as they're fucking told. It's shocking.
Being ranked by the Ring magazine now, it's a bit of an embarrassment because you're basically being ranked by Saudi. It's not that. Listen, don't get this. People should be getting this confused with the Ring magazine Bible that was the Bible of
I
boxing for
know.
for
It's
for
shocking, isn't
for
it?
years. They've just took it over and they're just using it as the cover for Riyadh season. It doesn't really mean anything, to be honest with you. It actually means jack shit, to be honest with you.
Listen, I know Andy Lee's your pal, but you know Joseph Parker. I'm gonna have to mention this. I think people have lost the shit over Joseph Parker these last few wins he's had because let's have it right. Zhang's a big old fat man in his forties. Martin Bakola's obese, fatter than I ever was. And who's the other dude? Who the other dudes has been? They've not been that no great shakes, have they? Jack Massey, a former world champion at cruisers, a small guy, and he gave him loads of problems, Jack Massey, didn't he? Nobody's
Well,
mentioning
well,
that, are they?
basically, Jack Massey cost Joseph Parker his deal at Sky. His
Yeah.
deal, his fight contract. He was with Sky at the time,
Yeah, but nobody's
so
mentioning Jack Massey now, are they? But they're
no.
mentioning Parker. But for me, Parker beat a fat man. He's just beating fat old men and shot men like Wilder. That's it. People are losing their mind over him. He's a stinkinator, and he will always be the stinkinator in my eyes. That's just how I
Well,
look
well,
at
I,
things.
I I rinsed him 2 days ago in the video, and
He
you
needs
know,
it.
if
Losing his mind, isn't he?
I don't rate him. What I don't listen. See Joseph Parker in the 90s. He wouldn't have been a top 25 guy.
Joseph Parker, right, wouldn't have been able to hang with Henry Cooper, mate.
Definitely, even Joe Bugner. No way.
Joe Bugner had peppered him all night with a jab, and Henry had a cut, had a done him with Henry's hammer. There you go. Uh, how long we got left here? Let's have a look. 1.5 minutes. Right. Dylan White, White, shy. I always say he failed the dope test in K2. Well, it's K1 in it. Where have I got K2 from? Is that a mountain? We call it K2 on here because it gets dibs commenting on it and correcting me. Now, I don't mean that. Don't take it to heart. But Dylan White, a four-time drug cheat. Why are they giving him all this big kudos on here? We need him run out at sport. Four-time combat sport cheat, and everybody's hanging out the back of him. So Bricktop, well done feeding him to Moses Atome. But Atome shouldn't be ranked number one by the WBO. It degrades the shitty brown belt. I mean, it's a shit colour anyway, but it just degrades it, in my opinion. And I want White ran out the sport, me. And who's to say he's even going to turn up for his beating? Is you know what I mean? Who's to say that? What do you think?
It could go. It could be two ways. He could be brought in to do the job, so he's going to be basically a jobber for the night. He's probably. I'm thinking money wise. I'm thinking right. So I lose this fight, and I'm not going to get any basically more big earnings. So what are you looking? You think he'll get 2-3 million for this fight?
Yeah, they're not going to put him in with Joshua because Joshua's that fragile now. They're just hanging around waiting for Fury, aren't they? They daren't put Joshua near anybody now.
No.
Not even
No,
shite white. So,
no.
and that's it. We're out of time, kid. Listen, Kent, I love you. Have a great evening. It's 1 a.m. and I'm bollocksed. So you
All
take
right, bro.
care. Cheers,
All
mate.
right, bro. All
Cheers,
the
Kent.
best.
Bye bye. That were Kent, the top lad. Women loving men wanna be in. Pop, pop, bang. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.